guess we can't go any further with this routine.
It's George Carlin. What do you expect?
Well worth checking out. Well worth checking out.
Oh, I thought it was the YouTube police.
No, that's me. No, there's about 20 versions of this. This is very famous. This is the court case that clarified what indecency is on television. So it was on the Pacifica network in the 60s, or maybe it was the 70s. Pacifica, we have KPFA 94.1 over in Oakland. That's part of the Pacifica network. But this was in New York. And Carlin, he had a comedy album out with these 7 words on it, this routine. And they played it on air, like in the middle of the day. And about 6 months later, one person complained. And so the FCC fined KPFA, and KPFA said, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. And eventually went to the Supreme Court, and the FCC won. And that was the first time that they had defined what were the words that you couldn't say, it's precisely the words that you couldn't say on TV or radio, same thing. Prior to that, the rule is that you cannot say anything indecent, offensive, or obscene. I think it's offensive, indecent, obscene. And then there's particular hours. After 10 p.m. and before 6 a.m., it's called safe harbor. You can say worse things than during the middle of the day. But during the middle of the day, this is what happened with Carlin. So that therefore defined the 7 words that we should not say on the radio at CCSF, because we might as well obey the rules for regular radio transmission just to get into the habit, So you already let fly with one of them, and you could imagine the others. But if you want, you can just watch them and you'll hear them. So And then beyond that, if there are any new naughty words that you can't say, that's at the discretion of the judge to decide whether that's offensive or not.
Oh, wait, it is class time.
Yeah, let's just see. I figure this is broadcasting and indecency. Let's just see those rules there. There we go. So obscenity, you're not allowed to do anything obscene at any time.
What is considered obscene?
Here's some definitions. What makes material obscene speech is not protected by the First Amendment. So this is the average person.
Lustful thoughts.
The material must depict or describe in a patently offensive way sexual conduct. It must lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. The Supreme Court has indicated that this test is designed to cover hardcore pornography, so they're clear about that.
So we can't watch Fritz the Cat on ABC?
Well, you know that ABC, they're self-policing. The networks actually would never allow it to get to the point, except during those live broadcasts, right? Like the famous, wardrobe accident and, a couple of F-bombs at the Emmys, or was it Emmys? I guess it was Tonys or Emmys, or maybe it was a music show. It was U2, it was Bono who got them in trouble, so that would be the Grammys. He said, "Oh, this is effing amazing," when they got like a prize or something. So,
those shows are taped when they come here to the West Coast. Why they leave them in?
It's a good point. I don't know. And they're delayed. They're delayed long enough so that someone could bleep them if they wanted. But actually, it was all of this functions by precedent, and there was a precedent that accidentally slipping an F-bomb or something like that, the FCC would not fine you. But then people started accidentally doing like the wardrobe malfunction. It was like, it was clearly planned, but so then they cracked down a bit. But it sounds like now, what the heck? Commerce rules. If it sells, then, let it happen. So, and then here's indecent, which the, swear words would still be considered indecent, but there's the 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time, what they call safe harbor. So you're allowed to say indecent stuff. Therefore, the FCC, where is the state licenses from broadcasting indecent material during that period? Okay, so you can be decent after 10 p.m. up till indecent from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. There you go. Profane,
Seems like it's the
F word and those words are highly offensive. To be profane language cannot be broadcast between 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's it. Oh, and there's the safe harbor, believe it or not. It's on the FCC website. There you go. So profanity. Well, there we go.
obscene material.
All right. So if you hear this on the City College web stream, you have to come and complain. All righty. Here we go. So today, the web package was due, but on Thursday, we're going to read them back. So today is just sort of a get the ball rolling. Would anybody like to take a look at their web package today? Or Nika? Oh, JP, how awesome is that?
Is Thursday a mandatory day?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And kind of like the last time, we're going to spend part of it just looking at web packages, but we're going to spend another part of it talking about the upcoming advertising assignments. So finally, we get out of news. It's coming none too soon. My view. There it is. Web package.
I'll moderate the chat.
You'll moderate the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Sorry, I'm blanking today as to what it's all about. If anyone in chat would like to take a look at their web package, send a message via Nick.
Okay, so let's see. Sol, Shannon, Garrett, Javier, Lori, Julian, Carmen, Ryan, and Corey are here.
On chat.
Yes.
Welcome to them all. If one or two of them wants to look over their web package, that would be great. Otherwise, a lot of people would have to wait till next class if they're clamoring for it.
That'd be great.
All right, so Nika, you left the library to its own musty devices, right? You decided not to continue on the library story. You switched over to the
Yeah,
Monarch
it was.
Butterflies.
Yeah.
Okay, good choice.
Sources weren't reliable anymore.
Okay, right. And I believe you cleaned it up, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I
Okay.
removed her
misinformation.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
so strange.
Okay, got it. So headline: Monarch Butterflies numbers continue to drop, and many may not migrate at all. Interesting. Good. Very informative. And there's your picture.
Oh, that's a video.
Well, that's a video.
I don't.
What's up with it?
What?
Maybe a different embed.
Oh, you haven't entered the story. Click the title.
Okay, got it. So that's just the
front.
thumbnail, basically, the
Yeah.
front page, and then your summary blurb. While the globe-spanning species is not endangered, the North American subspecies, whatever it is,
Anius plexipus.
nice. Good thing we don't need a pronouncer here in the web. Is in danger as its migration path is disrupted. Awesome. Go down to read more.
What?
Okay.
You can do it.
So your summary blurb becomes the lead of your story?
Well, I have to put it there so it becomes a summary blurb.
Got it.
I
Okay.
can't put it on like some separate sheet.
Okay, but I mean, that kind of mimics the content management system that might be in a station as well, whereby your lead would automatically get pushed to the page. Should we watch this? Is this an integral part?
I kind of chose this because it's similar to, it's like it came from a TV package as well.
4,000-kilometer journey back north 3 months later. We leave you this week with a look at their amazing trip. We look forward to seeing you here again next week for another edition of America's Now. Thanks for watching.
Cool.
It's hard to find the right mix of cheerful and, this is
Right.
actually not a good thing that's happening.
After all, it is an endangered species, but it's beautiful. I mean, by showing how amazingly beautiful it is, you gather sympathy for the whole thing. It's like, wow, we really should not let 4 out of 10 be the only ones that survive. All right, here we go.
All right. It is cold this morning in St. Paul, Minnesota, but that doesn't stop biologist Karen Oberhauser, is that how you say it?
Oberhauser?
Oberhauser, from coming out and counting butterflies. Well, it's really thinned out in here, hasn't it? Karen questioned her helpers, but they could not find any of the orange and black insects either. Every fall, monarch butterflies leave their breeding grounds for the summer in the northeastern U.S. and Canada and head over 3,000 miles south to the winter grounds in southeast Mexico, a journey that takes several generations to complete and has only become more and more perilous as the years go on. Much of this comes from the monarch's symbiotic relationship with the milkweed, the only plant that the larva can consume. The milkweed is, understandably, considered a weed by farmers, and most current herbicides destroy the plant while leaving corn and soy alone. That's some milkweed in the photo.
Oh, there it is. Cool.
It's actually not the most ugly plant.
Yeah.
This is not the only issue the insect faces. Habitat destruction, particularly of the oyamel fir trees, which provide a microclimate for the adults to thrive in, has been rampant, with acres of forest removed to make way for avocado farming. It's not all bad. Luckily, monarch butterflies are not going extinct and can be found all over the world. However, our local subspecies, Danius plexius, has had its numbers decreased by over 90% since 1995, with the 2013-2014 season being the worst. But it has since begun to bounce back, reporting positive growth in the last several seasons, according to National Geographic. A problem exists, however, is that with global warming, the rising temperatures trick some groups of monarchs to stay put when the winter comes. Below 15 Celsius, they cannot fly and soon freeze to death. Still, the subspecies is in danger. That is why biologists like Karen Oberhauser have been pushing the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to mark the butterflies as a threatened species, giving them special legal protection. Good old Karen. Karen Oberhauser has been studying the monarch since 1984 and is an assistant professor at the University of Minnesota's Department of Fisheries, Wildlife, and Conservation Biology. She is also the director of the Monarch Larva Monitoring Program, helping keep track of monarch populations, while she also distributes monarch larvae to teachers every year. Overall, the monarch species of butterfly isn't doomed and can recover from previous dark eras such as the 2013-2014 season, only with conscious effort from both farmers, developers, and of course, conservationists.
Lovely. Anything else? Web Extra?
I thought the video was the web extra.
But you didn't make the video.
No, I didn't. Okay.
You're supposed to write one other little thing. You can write it between now and the next
Okay.
class. No
I'll
problem.
put in a game.
Just put in like another page here with like a 150 word web extra.
Okay.
But this was excellent. I mean, there were a lot of great things about this.
Okay.
Add that in. But
I will.
the one thing that I would say went a little bit off is these headlines could be a little bit more informative.
Okay.
Remember, the purpose of the subsections and the headings is to allow people to kind of jump into the story where they want to.
Okay.
And so, for instance, just taking myself as an example, I had understood this because of the 90% decline in our particular part of the species. I had thought this was a total crisis, and everything I'd read from around 2013, 2014, I guess, was like, whoa, this is terrible, we got to stop it. So you're giving me new news, you're updating the story here by telling me that it's bouncing back, the numbers are better, this is a positive thing. So I don't know, to me, to serve me as a reader, of course I'm all that matters, would be to have a subheading where when you say it's not all bad, that's excellent, but maybe just be a little bit more explicit about
Okay.
monarch bouncing back, after terrible years,
Yeah, I
bouncing
can get more
back,
information.
something like that, just so that the subheads help us find that new information.
Okay.
I'd say. But it's coming in short 2-sentence paragraphs, perfect. It's really well written. I mean, you had one run-on sentence, I think, in somewhere in there, which was probably this one could have been done just being broken up. Now, of course, in print, it's not as, it's not like you run out gasping for breath like when you're on mic. Yeah, exactly. But you can feel it even as you read it. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, we need a break here. We need a break. Otherwise, I thought it was terrific.
Thank you.
Really, and I'm even more of a fan of the Monarch now.
I would suggest for that Celsius degrees, I would also add Fahrenheit.
It's a great idea.
Fine.
So that
Well, I mean, for our American audiences, so below 15 Celsius would be like, I don't know, 50 degrees, 40 degrees or something?
Something like that.
Something like that. So it's not even freezing, basically.
They really don't do well in cold weather.
Yeah. So they need to move butt at the right time so that they're far enough, or I guess far enough south to avoid the cold weather when it comes.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, there's lots of new stuff I learned here, and I've seen like dozens of things, just looking around for my own research. Nice.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. JP, would you like to look at yours?
Sure.
There it is. Wow, this looks really like corporate layout and everything. You want to read it?
yeah.
Go for it.
Sorry, it's kind of small.
Can I make it bigger?
Should I read the? Yeah. Thank you. Should I read the summary blurb?
Yeah, the whole thing if you want.
Street Fair celebrates Times Square redevelopment.
That's the head.
On
Great.
September 30th, the San Francisco Shipyard, a housing and community in Hunters Point, developed by two real estate companies, hosted its first street fair. The launch celebrated the development with food trucks and vendors, alcoholic beverages, live music, art exhibits, and model tours of the new homes.
All right. Sit down.
On a Saturday afternoon, Carlos Munoz, a resident of San Francisco, gazes at views of San Francisco Bay while listening to electronic dance music at a street fair in Hunters Point. He attended the fair of his baby son Maxwell at the invitation of his friends. We want to make sure that our baby socializes. He sees the environment, he gets to meet new people, says Carlos. Experience what it's like to be at a fair, see other kids, get them started early. The launch, held on September 30th, is the first street fair organized by the San Francisco Shipyard, a housing community developed by two real estate establishments. While Monarch Corporation constructs new homes for sale, 5 Point Holdings owns master planned communities on the California coast. Kofi Bonner, regional president of the Northern California division of 5 Point, says the fair doesn't just honor a long San Francisco tradition. In a press release from 5 Point, he states, "This inaugural event will celebrate and honor the past, present, and future of the entire neighborhood. Decades of redevelopment." The redevelopment of the shipyard goes far back to the 1980s. According to the organization's website, community leaders first gathered to discuss rebuilding at the start of the decade, and then again in 1993. During the late 1990s, the city of San Francisco gradually ratified and adopted a plan for redevelopment. In 2004, the Navy transferred the land surrounding the shipyard to the city. In 2008, the city passed Proposition G, which provisioned over 300 acres of parks and recreation, 10,000 new homes, and more than 2 million square feet of office space for business and research. 5 years later, the city and the Monarch Corporation broke ground on new homes in the shipyard. In 2014, Mayor Ed Lee declared Hunters Point reclaimed and reborn. Additionally, Monarch introduced 88 townhouses and condominiums in the shipyard. A variety of accommodations. The San Francisco Shipyard includes 12,000 quick moving homes, combined with the development near the now demolished Candlestick Park. 300 acres of public space, 500,000 square feet of retail, and 3 million square feet of office space for research and development. The home prices will range from the high 500,000s to the mid 600,000s. For friends Matthew Buzine and Mika Pejovich, who came from Australia to attend the street fair, this presents countless opportunities to connect with neighbors. Mika also notices lots of families at the fair that could possibly equate the number of households in the shipyard. Additional accommodations include 2 parks, Innis Court Park and Overlook Point, and the Storehouse, a convenience store serves both food and craft coffee. A shuttle bus transports commuters from the shipyard to various locations in the city, including downtown, the Dog Patch District, grocery stores, beaches, and parks. Carlos admires the prospect of a community with diverse amenities. I think it's a good way to bring the community together. And just so I bring my kid over here, it probably helps build that community event you're trying to kind of instill in your kids, you know. A weekend getaway. The launch offer the activities that just about any street fair would offer, including food and drinks, artwork, and music. The first 500 guests to RSVP to the street fair received a voucher for free meals from food trucks. The first 250 guests that checked in received a voucher for free drinks. Both vouchers came in the form of blue and white poker chips. Monarch Corporation offered brochures concerning the shipyard, as well as model tours of the new homes, an ideal fit for Australian couple James and Caroline Sane. We are interested in house and kitchen design, says Caroline. A number of art installations included glass art, face paint, tattoos, multilingual children's books, pottery dishes, watercolor paints, paintings, and spray paint.
Did I skip something?
Did maybe skip number page 3.
What's up with
Yeah.
page 3? Page up.
That side.
Oh, okay. It's displaying 2 at once for some odd reason. Okay.
Several food vendors exhibited their cuisine, which included chocolate, crackers, tofu dips, and summer dessert. Also, a few food trucks lined in its court and offered tacos, American cuisine, curry, Mediterranean food, juice, and popsicles. Additionally, beer and wine vendors served drinks at their breweries and distilleries around the shipyard. There are plenty of activities for children, as well as a raffle offering prizes for $5,000. Carlos enjoys the many activities offered at a street fair on a Saturday afternoon. It's the games they provide, the music, the environment, he says. It's relaxing. You get to kind of distract yourself from the Monday through Friday routine. It allows me to spend time with my family. The main attraction may have been a wide variety of musical acts. Many guests danced to music from DJ Manu, Motion Potion, and SF Punk, among other artists, on wireless headphones under a tarp at a silent disco. And more visitors watched live performances from artists such as Sam Peoples, DJ Shuey, Foreigner, Matt Hayes, Christopher Willits, Envelopes, Envelope Sound, and the headliner, Miami Horror. Guests like the Sames and Mika Pavich were enthusiastic about seeing Miami Horror, given the band was from Australia. The band is from Australia, excuse me. I was invited by my children to come along and watch the band, Mika says, and I thought, why not? Future events. In their press release, 5 Points states the goal of the fair is to entertain, educate, inspire, and embrace. Visitors like Carlos, Mika, Matthew, and the Saints suggest events besides the street fair that the shipyard could host in order to attract prospective residents. Caroline Sane proposes live music and concerts in breweries, while Matthew encourages hosting art and food fairs. And Carlos recommends some events to teach kids about the community, about their surroundings, how to give back, anything about technology, as well as activities that promote education. In addition, Mika suggests the shipyard hosts concerts and flea markets that provide a relaxed atmosphere. Near the ocean, near the water, it's not so big. So that means you're not going to have a lot of people coming, which is good, says Mika. You'll still have people, but it won't be crowded. All the guest interviews say they would gladly attend next year's street fair.
All right. Is there a web extra?
Oh, yes.
Is that in a separate
It's the
file?
protest. News, protest at the... Yeah, it is. It's in a separate file.
Separate file, let's
Yeah,
do
it
it.
says Web Extra.
There it is. Okay, cool.
Protests at Shipyard Street Fair. Just one short, of course. On September 30th, a grassroots organization protested pollution and gentrification at a street fair at the San Francisco shipyard. On September 30th, this grassroots organization protested the launch street fair at the San Francisco shipyard. The group campaigned against pollution and gentrification in the neighborhood that the developers have not discussed. In a press release, Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice claims the site of the shipyard is toxic and environmentally unstable, like several industrial neighborhoods across the country. Additionally, The starting home price in the shipyard ranged from the high 500,000s to the mid 600,000s, raising concerns about gentrification in the neighborhood. So far, the two developers of the shipyard, Monarch Corporation and 5 Point Holdings, have not publicly commented on either issue since the Green Action. The organization asserts that this is a stark contrast to the Street Fair press release, which claims the event aims to celebrate the legacy and heritage of the San Francisco shipyard and surrounding neighborhood, and entertain, educate, inspire, and include. There's more.
Did you take that shot?
No.
Oh, courtesy Green Action. All right. Round of applause for JP. Woo.
Wait, there's one more page.
There's one more page of this?
One more.
Oh my God, there's more.
Oh, this is it. According to Green Action's website, their previous campaigns have resulted in the closure of several power plants in Hunters Point, as well as a reduction in diesel flying from Eagle Island. Additionally, the group has raised awareness of toxic fish in San Francisco Bay. And finally, mothers and youth of color living in public housing in Hunters Point have banded together to advocate for social justice.
Right, great. And is this part of Green Action or is this a separate?
That is, I should have said that's Green Action.
It is part of it? No, I mean,
I should have mentioned that. That's something that Green Action has
it's a matter of an additional sentence or something, but that's it. But that's, I mean, since, I want to hear what you guys think too, by the way, but I'm so glad to hear the alternate perspective on this. Did you guys feel that too?
That was going to be my comment before that came up, like where it sounded too much like a corporate press release, and then you had this, so
yeah.
handled that.
Yeah, you actually took us by surprise by putting it into the web extra. That's great. That is really what I felt the last time when this was a package, and I felt, oh, it's just too much like just everybody's having a great time. There's no downside to this, and I really feel like this brought the balance back into it. And I bet this organization would not have shut you down and not talked to you, the way that Lennar did. I was even going to say, wow, well, Lennar would be really quite happy with this web, the main story. And then this is exactly what I think they were fearing, that, if whatever they would say, they would have to deal with this pushback from community organizations. I'm so glad you covered this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. And of course, the whole thing is impeccably well written. I mean, all the way through. I especially appreciated the context, the historical part. I don't know what you guys thought, but I felt the, where are we? I guess it was here, decades of redevelopments. That was very interesting to me because I didn't realize how long it takes for something like this to come to fruition, And so I think this is a real plus of this version, that we really get a sense that, this started like decades ago. And so anyone complaining about it, it's not like, it's not like there wasn't a master plan at some point to intervene in or anything else. I'm not saying those people at Green Action don't have a very good point, but I'm just saying that my impression was like, wow, this has been going on for a long, long time. Did anybody else have that feeling? Like, it was like, whoa. I think it was reminding me also, I had heard allegations about like toxic waste in that area of town or something. I don't know how all that worked out. I'm not sure. I felt there was an almost Dickensian level of detail here.
Yeah, I had a lot.
Have you ever read in any of Dickens? It's like they'll have a dinner or something, and there'll be like 4 pages about what they ate. It's like so. As much as I felt the context was really enlightening here, then I thought, well, I can see why we would want to know the musical acts, but maybe exactly what the food trucks, maybe that was a step too far. I don't know. But you had endless space.
By the way, Mr. Cecil.
Yes, sir.
How many pages does this need to be?
Well, it's a minimum of 450 words for the main story, and 150 for the web extra. So if you double space 12 points, it's 250 words per page. So we're looking at like two pages double spaced for the main story, and then a 3/4 page of the web extra. And JP, this must be at least double that, right?
Yeah.
Did you count the words?
Yeah, it's way more.
Yeah, it's way more, which is it's fine. I said the web is an open format. You can put in as much as you think people will be interested in. But in terms of size, Nick, it's more like what Nika did. In terms of
I think
like,
mine was 450 on the dot.
Yeah, not another word. I refuse. Yeah. The thing is, it's a lot of effort to write well and clearly like this. I don't know, JP, how long, you must have taken a fair bit of time to do all of this and make sure that it is, pretty much impeccable. There's maybe one little spot, no typos, obviously, but maybe one little spot where one sentence seemed to have an extra word or something, but otherwise it's like, wow, you edited it yourself. And so writing that much is it's just a lot of work in addition to being challenging just to tell a story and such. So well done.
Mine's an Australian band called Miami Horror.
Interesting. I don't know.
I guess bands come up with different names.
Yeah.
You don't have to justify it.
I was puzzling why Of Montreal actually comes from like is it Arkansas or Alabama or something? No, Athens, Georgia. They're from Athens, Georgia, and the band is called Of Montreal. But I looked it up, the internet. The singer had a girlfriend from Montreal. She dumped him. It's true. It's a good band. My kid was playing. I was thinking, wow, this is great. What? They're from Montreal? No. They have nothing to do with Montreal. Wow, lots and lots of links in case we want to see more. Is there anything about there's the Shipyard Trust for the Arts.
That's all those art that I mentioned.
Yeah, that's excellent. And then is there anything on the neighborhood? Like, you weren't required to have anything specific, but I thought that would be great.
There's the San Francisco Shipyard website.
Is that in there?
Yeah.
I want to look that up. Okay. There it is, yeah. So that's a very relevant link. Wow. They do make it look amazing. And that was another thing in your description of the project, just the scope of, having to make city parks, amenities, shuttle bus, all of this stuff to develop. Stunning. Yeah, and then the pushback, right? Wow, this is a great, nice looking website. All right, well, terrific job, JP.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to look at one, or we can wait till Thursday, or I can just read them. These are not like reading scripts out loud.
Let's see if the chat wants to read anything.
Yeah, right. Let's dip
WebEx.
into the chatters
Get the
over here at
a real
Firefox.
scoop on why butterflies should die or something.
That's the pushback from the National Butterfly Haters Association. Right. Okay, let's see in chat. Does anyone want to read one in chat? So the web extra has to be written. Yes, sir, absolutely. It says in the assignment 150 words.
I thought the web extra was supposed to be like information that wasn't in the.
Well, the topic of it does, yeah, but it has to be written up as writing.
Oh, I know.
So
I know what I can do it on.
So it can't be on what we've been. What if I want to do the web story on the one I've been doing for the TV and radio one? The past two.
I don't know. I was thinking you were just going to do the web package on the wrestling story,
Yeah.
right? Right. So the web extra is just some related dimension, but that you haven't covered already.
Okay.
It could be, other famous graduates of that high school.
Ah.
It could be a guidance counselor talking about how important it is that people with actual jobs come into the school. So it's related, but it's not directly in your story already, and you write it up separate. You don't put it into the story.
Okay.
Yeah, like part of the assignment is like JP did, where he gave us a historical context of this, the development project. So he's adding extra information into the web version of the story, and that's good. But then the thing that he did on the, the counter group is the web extra. It's separate. So, and that very well could have been integrated into the whole story too, and still could be if you want to, go and if you wanted to pull all of this together into, I don't know, something that would look like a good journalism feature or something like that. You could do that. I have to say, it's a lot of fun just to see how these stories, which we've had in an audio-visual form, watching them come together on a page with, quotes and pictures and stuff like that. It really is very cool to me, anyway, that it works that way. So, I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I did. Oh.
I had a lot of fun with the butterflies.
Yes, it did. But seriously, how many hours? It must have taken a while to write that.
Yeah, I did about research for about an hour, and then it took another 3 or so hours. I went through a couple drafts. I really didn't like it.
Well done. Yeah. It shows. It's really well written, smooth, comes together. Where'd you learn? Is it WordPress? I guess.
No, it's Blogspot.
Oh, okay, Blogger. Yeah. Do you do other blogging on that
No, I
platform?
do not.
Okay.
I used it for. I got posted a couple essays I had on some cultural topics a while back.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, I can just still use it again for this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I really did not want to write this out in HTML. So.
No, and you didn't have to. Remember, anyone who might be listening, remember you can just put it in a PDF as JP did, Word document, that's fine.
Like I wanted to, but I didn't want to do all that work.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, these, WordPress or Blogger they're both pretty easy to compose stuff in. You just write it in Word and then dump it in and format it. That's another thing. Cool, okay. Well, I look forward to hearing a couple more next class. And there you go. I finished your VOSOTs. Excuse me. I've been working on your TV packages. It's top priority. I'm hoping by Thursday to have all those done and do that. Cedar, did you have a hand up?
I could read mine if.
Would you like
somebody
to?
else wants to go.
Awesome. Great. Nika, did you have a question
No,
about?
no, I didn't. I said let's just watch the George Carlin.
Let's watch
I do also like George Carlin.
with live bleeping. I'm afraid I won't be able to show it. Seriously, I don't think. That's live. I gave you the link, and then you can go and ruin your minds, your fresh minds, with this subversive content. Okay, so Cedar.
Sure, these people don't want.
Woot.
All right, I'm gonna tell the chat we're just gonna show their work anyways without their consent.
No, we can do that on
We
Thursday.
can deal with it.
We can do that on Thursday. We have plenty of stuff we can talk about. Table of contents, I love it. Thank you, Cedar. Here's the summary blurb.
Political activism in Marin a year after the election. Last November, a divisive election caused uncertainty for many in America. For a long-time resident of Marin County and inspired her to get involved in political activism. A former CFO, Lisa Bennett, now helms the Sausalito chapter of Indivisible, a nationwide network of progressive grassroots activism.
Cool.
I'll skip the first part. It's the same. It's the blurb. Just over the Golden Gate Bridge in Sausalito, there's an art gallery and event space called Studio 333.
Whoops.
The name-
Did I jump over something?
No. I'm just not gonna read the.
Oh, but
it's
I'm
the same
reading
as the
something.
blurb.
Oh, okay. The blurb. You jumped over the blurb. I see. Okay. Cool. Okay.
The name comes from its address on Caledonia Street, an especially charming part of Sausalito. Aside from hosting artwork and events, Studio 333 is also where Lisa Bennett runs an Indivisible chapter. It's a new home for the chapter, which used to meet at the Sausalito Public Library. They've been active for nearly as long as Donald Trump has been in office. Lisa was recovering from back surgery last winter when the election of Trump made her decide to get involved with political activism. The timing could not have been better. Shortly after the election in December, former congressional staffers published the Indivisible Guide, a handbook for engaging in progressive activism from the grassroots level. Who's this document by and for? We are former progressive congressional staffers who saw the Tea Party beat back President Obama's agenda. We see the enthusiasm to fight the Trump agenda and want to share insider info on how to best influence Congress to do that. You want to do your part to beat back the Trump agenda and understand that will require excuse me.
It's okay, you didn't write it, see?
Yeah, I didn't write this. That will require more than calls and petitions. You should use this guide, share it, amend it, make it your own, and get to work.
Is this,
up a bit. Oh, did it cut off?
no, I think
It might have done the.
It's a double-sided.
where
it's a
split
double-sided
into two
thing,
parts.
yeah. So page up.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and then you go right. There we are. And then go up.
Along with many others nationwide, Lisa downloaded the guide off the Indivisible website. She said that it gave us all a strategy and tactics to use primarily to hold members of Congress or elected officials accountable. Since February, she's used the Indivisible guide and applied her past experience as a CFO and as a member of her son's school board to run the Sausalito chapter of Indivisible. Lisa does research, prepares handouts, and books speakers from other activist groups for the chapter's monthly meetings. The Invisible Network. Indivisible. I keep saying invisible. Once they have a game plan, Lisa and her fellow activists get to work. Often they partner with other Bay Area chapters such as Indivisible Sonoma and Indivisible San Francisco. Lisa recalls their efforts from last September when Republicans were trying to pass the Affordable Health Care Act. We had a sit-in in downtown San Francisco at Dianne Feinstein's office to encourage her to hold the line against the horrible health care bill that they were trying to pass. The bill ultimately failed, and the Bay Area chapters chalked up the victory. The Indivisible Network fosters this kind of collaboration between chapters. Indivisible Sonoma helped out by bringing us large membership, and Indivisible San Francisco wrote the press release. Lisa appreciates these connections with other chapters since keeping people engaged with Sausalitos is not easy. Participation difficulties and going forward. Chelsea Joleron is a Sausalito chapter member who's been coming since the first meeting. She attributes spotty attendance to a lack of prioritization. The membership is never steady. It depends on the month. If it's the winter months, it's too hard because there are always holidays. If it's the...
Whoops. Back up, sorry.
No worries.
So what do? We go here and we go page down.
If it's during the summer months, it's too hard because people are always on vacation. And people don't prioritize it. If they don't plan on going every single month, then they're going to put it off. Despite this challenge, Lisa and the faithful regulars remain undaunted. She and the chapter plan on canvassing in California's 10th district with an elections group called Swing Left. They hope to help Democrats win back seats in Congress during the midterm elections in November of 2018. And then there's a web extra.
Should we read the extra before
Yes.
we're talking? Okay, so
Holding elected representatives accountable. On Indivisible Sausalito's website, it says, "We hold our elected representatives accountable." Lisa and Indivisible Sausalito routinely hold meetings with Mark Levine, a Democrat in the California State Assembly who represents the 10th District. We've got an assemblyman in Marin, Mark Levine. He's a talker, and he loves to schmooze, and he uses that as a diversion tactic. He doesn't want to answer the question, because no politician really does. At our last meeting we had with him, he was doing that yakking thing, and we had 30 minutes with him, and that was it. And I said to him, "Mark, stop the chatting, we have work to do, and I have a lot of people who want to talk to you. Shut up." It worked. So that was memorable. Another instance comes from a meeting with California Senator Dianne Feinstein's staff. Lisa usually partners with Indivisible Sonoma for these meetings and recalls asking for a town hall with Senator Feinstein. We have a meeting with Dianne Feinstein's staff once a month, and I got stuck asking for a town hall, which is a very testy subject for Dianne Feinstein. She last had one in San Francisco, open to the public, and she was actually yelling at the crowd. It did not go well. So I got stuck asking for another one. Would she do it again? No. Then we repositioned the question to say, no, we really think it's important. Yes, we understand how she feels on the issues, but for her to connect with her constituents on a personal level, that is really important. I still got the no, but it was a try. I tried. Elected representatives may not always cooperate, but Lisa is unafraid to hold them to account as public servants. She and Indivisible make sure that ordinary citizens have a seat at the table in our representative republic.
All right. Wow.
And then the web feature, it was just a discussion forum with a few questions.
Okay, which is, that's really appropriate given that it's all about participation and the difficulties of getting people involved. Yeah, that's cool. It's because of its scope, it starts to give me a feeling of just how challenging it is, the whole political process and stuff. Like especially you're talking about in the Web Extra. It's good that that's there because at first I was thinking, well, here they are, Democrats in California. How much do you have to complain about, really? Or how much? And then you realize, well, they may actually be trying to angle left on Dianne Feinstein and push her in some ways. And the same for the other. I love that thing about telling the guy to shut up and stuff. That was excellent.
Yeah, she's got a rapport with those people since they meet every so often.
So both of those give us more of a sense of what could Indivisible Sausalito actually be involved in, and so that's good. And again, in terms of structuring, I like the way that at the end of the story, I've been emphasizing this in people's TV packages, but there's typically only a couple ways of ending a news item, which is either you're summarizing and confirming the importance of what happened, or you're looking ahead and saying, okay, what's coming up next? And in this case, that's where you go with this. It's like, what's their next challenge? What's their next campaign? So that makes a lot of sense to put that there. So, what did you guys think? Other comments?
I thought it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I'd say for the web extras, it looks like a separate article. You might want to mention Lisa's last name or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough.
Because it's a brand new thing. It's a separate thing.
A little backdrop into the last one.
Oh, there's the discussion forum too. Cool. Other thoughts for Cedar? I thought your subheads were really clear, and like this kind of thing. It's not cute. It's not wordplay. It's it really is going to talk about what kind of troubles they've had, which is great.
Yeah, I wasn't going for cute.
Right. Got it. I'm just talking about a clickbaity headline or something. Tell me, guys. I don't know. In print, should you sort of phoneticize that or something? I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Just because it's left field.
I'm not sure. What do you guys think? You would? Yeah.
Parentheses pronounced as
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
I don't know. We were prepared for it based on your last.
Is her name just actually XLC?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's on her.
Pretty wild.
So
All
certificate.
What was
All caps.
and the grandparents, like, why did they?
Yeah, her dad just made up the name. Her middle name is Delakiel.
And do you have to go before a judge to ask for such an uncommon name? No. Okay. I had heard. I think maybe in Canada or something. There's, if you have a name which is really quite unique, you have to get it cleared.
Oh,
The
interesting.
Canadian name
I know in Germany.
Canadian Board of Names.
You have to get
Is
it
it German?
approved if you want to name your child Adolf. But
Oh,
Really?
maybe that's where I'd heard about it. Right? They have really strict kind of anti-Nazi rules, right? I
Yeah.
wonder why. Oh man.
Must have been something.
There's
big
only been
that
like a
happened.
Yeah, it must have been like.
Something
there's only been
very.
like
remember.
11 Adolf's names.
Wasn't there some horrific? Oh my
I
God.
wonder how many Adolfs in history there were.
Aye,
What did
aye.
they ever do wrong?
It was Adolf
Okay, let's
Sprutz.
talk about it.
Sprouts. All right, so we're gonna,
We did though.
you know, there's, we're gonna pick all of this discussion up next class as we talk about our upcoming assignment. But this next leg of our little route is we're gonna wind up writing a 2-column script for a public service announcement for something going on at City College. So remember, a public service announcement is like a television commercial for a good cause. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do it in 2 steps. We're going to do what's called a creative brief, and that's what we're going to talk about next class. And so a creative brief is a document that you do before you go and write a script, and you know, it's often done a client in relation with an advertising agency, just to lay out, you know, what are the parameters, what's this advertisement going to be like. So we'll do that, and then the week after, write a 2-column script. So 1 video, 1 column audio, but this time not news, but rather, you know, sort of promoting something happening here at City College. So pages 216 to 220 in the textbook have the description of what is a creative brief, and we'll tackle that next class, talking to everybody at once to clarify that, because people are not that aware of, you know, what should go in a creative brief or not. But I think it's pretty important, because when you're writing for hire, which is what advertising is, you know, you're no longer reporting for the public good. You're really putting yourself on the side of a commercial entity that, or in our case, you know, the college as an institution anyway, that wants to get its point of view across. So all kinds of concerns about objectivity and not wanting to write a press release, those go out the window, because really what we're trying to do is to motivate people as effectively as we can on behalf of our client. So advertising is like that, paid communication, and the thing is, it's hard to get clients, and so a creative brief is a good way of outlining before you begin. And, you know, what is it that you guys want? What am I supposed to write for you? What do you hope comes out of this? And those are important, because if they have unformed expectations and somehow you don't meet them because they're unformed, rather like your parents and their expectations. Well, what do you want? Right? This is kind of the thing with the clients. It's like, well, what did you actually want me to do? Because I did this and I think it's good, but now. So the creative brief is to try to nail down in advance, okay, what are we after here? Are you hoping eventually, you know, to get a 5% rise in subscriptions? Or, you know, if you're running a service center here at City College, are you hoping to get, you know, 5% better feedback on your marketing scores or something like that? Or, you know, 10% more people coming through the door asking for help, or, you know, that kind of thing. So it really comes down to, you know, defining who do you want to talk to, who's your target audience. Like, if you're working for on the veterans services here, yes, obviously it's veterans, but, you know, if it's health services, are there particular groups that you want to reach out to? You know, so target audience, and then, you know, what kind of message, what kind of information do you want to give them? Maybe what are their predispositions going into it, so that you can find out from your client, well, you know, we actually would like to get more people, you know, tested, but they come in afraid of what will happen if there's a positive result or something like that. So then, you know, you need to be aware of that and factor that into your concept. So this is the creative brief, is the point, it's the concept, you know, down to, okay, what kind of call for action, because typically advertising doesn't just say, well, here's this thing, right? It's like journalism is like, well, here's this thing, Hunter's Point, oh, there's a new building, right? Versus the call for action is, reach out to us and we'll send you a package of, materials about the development, or, share this and we'll put your name in a hat and you can maybe win $1,000, or, all of those things come down as a call for action. What do you want people to do once they've read your or seen, in this case, it's not a written piece, they've seen your television commercial. That, in short, is what we'll be doing. Nick?
Corey asks, so, hold on.
Lovely. Thank you.
Darn thing's reloading.
There's a little lag there, yeah.
Yeah, a little lag. Okay. So Corey asks, so what you need is 450 word section with the main story and a separate 150 web extra.
Yes, Corey.
With an interactive feature like photo, polls, or links.
Indeed, exactly. Exactly. And it's all written here in the web package assignment. It says, what do you need to hand in? A summary blurb. Part B, a web news story. Okay.
Conversational language.
Conversational language, all the rest of it. Write the web extra, provides new content for the web, and a little interactive feature, right? And Cedar went so far as to give me a little table of contents, and to put above each section, you would just write, here's the main story, here's the web extra, so on and so forth. So there it is. Okay. Alrighty, and for those who dare go where the Monarch Butterfly flies, you can do, if you're fed up with your story, you can do a Monarch Butterfly story if you want.
Truly amazing.
Truly, truly. Also, I want to give a shout out to to our 3 readers today for attributing information almost effortlessly, transparently, but where information came from, we saw where that was sourced. That was good. So do remember when you're taking information from somewhere else to attribute it. All right. Well, why don't we break 5 minutes? Well, we have a video if you want. Yeah, let's actually just watch. Here's a 109 video. Just because I don't think next class will have time, and what the heck. This is a pretty nice video by Adobe.
History of advertising in 60 seconds. Advertising is as old as the human condition, but branded, product-based ads didn't show up until the 18th century, when print advertising became the norm. In the 1800s, we got the first billboards, and ad agencies began to set up shop. In 1891, companies like Kodak began selling their brand, not just their product. Then, in 1908, new companies like Ford staged flashy publicity events and pioneered the art of looking cool. The soap opera was born when soap companies discovered the popularity of radio dramas among women when they did their housework.
By the makers of Lux toilet soap.
Bulova watches made the first television commercial. It cost $9. And when psychologists got involved in the 1960s, focus groups transformed the industry into a calculated science. The tactics got a lot less predictable, and the budgets got a lot bigger. Enter the internet. Even though it looked like this and sounded like, advertisers were eager to engage the growing network of more than 5 million users. By the year 2000, ads were appearing alongside search results, driven by consumer interests. Now, advertising is just part of the conversation. For the first time in history, consumers are able to choose the ads they see based on their own taste, and brands are working with publishers to create content. It's a whole new world. Welcome to modern advertising.
Whew, my goodness, 60 seconds. Wow, jam-packed. Wow. Well, there you go. We're going to do an old school TV ad. Nick.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Sorry.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. You were just stretching. I thought maybe we had some curated commentary from our gang. History of advertisements, and let me just see if maybe right here, PSA, just a couple of examples. Now, the thing about these PSAs is, first of all, I'm not asking, sorry to interrupt, Nick, I'm not asking you guys to do a general kind of, how could I put it? I'm not asking you to do a social issue PSA. I'm asking you to do a PSA for something at City College, right? So that would be,
Look up ad council. They usually have council.
for sure, yeah. So the ad, sorry, just one sec, CCS ad. God.
What current issues are plaguing us?
But that's the point. I don't want to mislead people by giving them a current issue example, but these are the kinds of things at City College that we would want to profile. Student health services, they're over there. Learning resource centers is an excellent place to do a PSA. All of these would be potentially very interested in having a 60-second television PSA that could eventually screen somewhere internally, but that would be really terrific. So I don't want to mislead with but the ad council is great, and we can look. This is one of my favorites here.
People look at you. They stare. They all stare. They point at you. They shout things. They make you feel different. It's fantastic.
I love that one. I love that one. Did you guys like that too? What did you like about it?
Felt more like an ad, but I did like it.
They
Yeah.
made you think they were talking about just the mockery you would get for his disability, but then they show he's being cheered by the crowd.
Exactly.
They're watching him and they're cheering.
Total reversal of expectations. And the whole way it's black and white. It's so close up, and the sound is so
tearing eyes.
right. And it's and you're just expecting, we should feel so sorry for this guy, but no, we should feel his triumph. So I really like that one.
There's also a good ad that was done by Xbox. It was years ago. It was actually banned from being on TV. But it was actually
Why am I not
really-
surprised you have a band advertising for us, Nick?
It's really good.
Well, maybe we'll have a chance to check a couple out. I'm not, maybe not next class, but the class after or something like that. But there's nothing that says that even though we're promoting something from City College, that we can't take a kind of high concept approach like that and tell a story and entertain at the same time as we inform. So I'm just going to write you guys on the sign-up sheet here. So I got Stephanie, I got JP, I got Cedar, I got Nika, and I got Nick. And so thank you for attending. So we'll see you with everybody. Everybody next class is mandatory, right? So we're going to read some more of these great web packages, and we are going to discuss the assignment for the creative brief, and maybe see a couple of band commercials.